My name is Julie Turney, and this is the HR Sound Off podcast show, the show created for HR and business professionals to discuss pertinent topics and trends as it relates to our professions. We're going to have amazing conversations with HR professionals from all over the world, get to learn their origin stories. How did they get into this profession? What do they love about being here? And how they want to set the record straight on that one misconception that really drives them crazy about our profession. Are you ready? I'm ready. Then let's sound off. Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the HR Sound Off podcast show. My name is Julie Turney, and I am your host. I hope you're doing well today as you listen to this episode. I am joined today with Keirsten Greggs. Kirsten, how are you doing?
I'm good, just here on the East Coast in the cold. We didn't get snow this past weekend, but my neighbors to the north, including my family, did get a good amount of snow. So yeah, I'm just here surviving the winter.
Oh my goodness. Well, I hope it passes soon. Spring should be in the air before you know it.
Don't go too fast now.
No?
Too fast.
You like your winters? You like winter?
It's not that. I just don't want to accelerate time too quickly.
Okay. Okay. Slow the roll.
Yeah, slow the roll. Exactly.
I get you. I got you. So why don't we start by just telling everyone a little bit about who you are, what you do, and a little bit about your HR origin story. How did you get here?
Well, I am Kirsten Greggs. For those who don't know, I go online as Trap Recruiter. That stands for Trusted Relationship Builder, Accountable, and Proactive. But the origin of that name does have some foundation in trap music, me being a human jukebox.
We're going to have to test that out.
Yeah, we might have to. Those type of things. So there is some of that in there, but it works.
Yeah.
I got my start in HR by mistake, mostly in talent acquisition. It was the year 1999. I had just moved to Northern Virginia, and I was looking for something, but didn't know what. So I put my resume up on Monster, and in preparation for Y2K, there were a lot of technical recruiter jobs, especially on the agency side, because there was, a need for certain like help desk positions, tech positions, those, more high volume roles.
Right.
So I interviewed for this job, and I think they liked my personality and, the sales aspect. So I'm a trained agency recruiter. And for those who are recruiters, they know what I mean by that.
Yes.
Very soon after, I did go into government contracting just by virtue of where I live.
Okay.
So one of the companies that we actually supported needed in-house recruiters. They didn't have any. They had HR people doing recruiting, and we did such a good job that they brought 3 or 4 of us over to the company.
Right.
So I got my start in government contracting like that, but because we were kind of an agency inside of the organization, we still performed and had that kind of work ethic, I'll say, as opposed to people who have hit the ground running in corporate or in-house recruiting. There's just there is a difference in that. So I did that for a long time. Then I will say I was fortunate enough to get laid off in 2016, in the summer of 2016. And, I had been through TA, like various positions. There's more than recruiter in talent acquisition.
Correct.
So I had done some other things. Again, very fortunate to have worked for organizations who not only supported my growth, but who also understood where TA was going as its own function. So I did some contract work just because of the network that I have, because I needed money. I had to maintain my lifestyle, so to speak.
Right.
And, I would do some quick recruiting work, and then, people would be asking me to do some of the things that I was doing in my corporate life. Like, can you come train our recruiters really quickly? really quickly. I say that.
In inverted commas.
Right. Very quickly, can you come, help us with this system? Remember those reports you used to do, and all this. And then one of my friends said, why aren't you sending these people invoices? Like, why are you doing this work for free? And I said, what? And I was like, well, I don't want to be my own company. I don't want to be a staffing agency. And they said, again, they're like, there's more to recruiting. There's more to TA than filling jobs.
Right.
You do that. So do that for yourself. So I did. And here we are, started Trap Recruiter LLC officially, with the license and the name and the EIN and all of that. Right. In 2017. Okay. And I have, again, just been very fortunate to get opportunities to do some very fun and exciting and different, non-mundane and just challenging, ever-changing projects through the lens of a recruiter. So yeah, that's my story.
Sounds exciting. I love the fact that you said, because I think a lot of times people don't understand that this function that we call HR has lots of different elements to it.
Absolutely.
And I love the fact that you said that talent acquisition can be standalone, because I think a lot of people don't understand what it takes. So break it down for us.
Okay.
What is talent acquisition? What does it entail?
Okay, so talent acquisition would be similar, although it can also be, like you said, under the umbrella of HR. It can also be its own umbrella. So let's look at HR as like a big golf umbrella.
Exactly.
And then look at TA as like,
one of those little sections. If you have the golf umbrellas that have like the blue and white or different colors.
We can fit you. I'm saying like you can fit a full TA umbrella under the golf umbrella. So look at it this way. So there are, again, different jobs, so to speak, inside of TA. So everyone knows when people use talent acquisition and recruiting synonymously, but I like to say that that recruiting has a definitive beginning and ending point, meaning the act of recruiting, of doing that job. It starts with a need. It starts with a hiring need, and it ends when someone starts. Right. Because everything else can be called something else. Because then it becomes retention. Right. Then it becomes employee experience. And employee engagement. And those type of things. So that's why I say like recruiting has a definite beginning, stop, and ending point. Yeah. Although it can also be continuous, but TA is very cyclical. There is no straight line of what starts and what stops, because we skip a lot of steps. Yes. I call it, it's kind of like that game, and I'm going to age myself. So, I am trying to look younger today. But, there, it's like chutes and ladders. I don't even know if people still play board games, but yes, that's what TA is. All those moving parts, all those different characters or players on the board at the same time, trying to get to the same point, competing interests, rolling the dice, going up, going down, going up the ladder is great. You can skip some steps. You might shoot all the way up to the finish line, but you might be, gradually going up, just hitting those milestones, and then hit a slide and go right down. That's been my life over the past couple of weeks. I've been hitting a lot of slides.
Oh my goodness.
Not the good ones where people slide into your DMs. Back to the starting line.
Hang in there. It'll be okay. Thank you. So thank you for sharing that and giving us that example, because I think that's really important for people to understand. As leaders in organizations, it's always bugged me when people say, HR is just hiring and firing. when there's so much more to who we are and what we do as professionals. But the fact that talent acquisition can very much hold its own and have a team of its own is something that I think a lot of leaders need to pay attention to.
I think it's becoming more prevalent, or more, not prevalent's not the right word, but I think it's becoming more evident as we are still in this, we'll call it strange and chaotic workplace development and job employment landscape.
Yeah.
We have all of these nice little names we like to call things, the great resignation, the great reshuffle, all of those things. But I think that people are really starting to see the impact, the long-term impact, not necessarily the reactionary stuff that we have to do, because that's just a part of our jobs too. But really seeing what goes into building these strategies that sometimes you guys don't fully let us get through. Exactly. And I do think that there are more organizational leaders who historically were not very attuned or even very receptive to HR being a partner. I think they're opening up to that a bit more. When they're seeing that this isn't, because being in TA, I hear all the time, anybody can be a recruiter. Okay.
Anyone could be a recruiter. Anyone could be in HR.
Okay. Good luck.
Just like, let me take off my shoes for one day. You try it. Let me know how that works out for you.
I'm going to add that to my lexicon. Let me take off my shoes for you.
Yeah.
Here you are.
Here you go. Give it a try. You let me know how that works out for you. Because I like that. I'm sure when they come back, they go, okay, I get it. I definitely, hats off to you, So I want to ask you, what are the 3 biggest challenges that you have experienced over the last 2 years through COVID? What have been some of the biggest challenges for you working with organizations in your role?
The added imbalance of talent to jobs has been a challenge. Being in this type of role where we are client facing, and I don't mean just inside of the organization or with our customers, depending on the type of recruiters that we are, but also with job seekers, like not being able to consistently be in person is very challenging in this type of role, because onboarding is also challenging. And we can't anticipate those, or we can't control those external factors, like the mail didn't come, so the person didn't get their computer. Someone doesn't have reliable internet access if they work in an office type of job. People getting to work, again, like just all of the infrastructure issues that people don't think about that are outside of just your workplace. I just recently, I want to give an example, because again, I'm in a privileged place. I've worked remotely for 5 years or so. 5 or 6 years, going on 6 years.
6 years, yeah.
And even before that, I could work from home when I needed to, or I could work remotely when I needed to, when it was better for me to do so. So, I have the setup already. I have an office I can go into. I make sure Verizon keeps my service connected, and I have a T-Mobile hotspot in the event that Verizon is acting funny. So, there are things that I have. That habit. I don't know if you saw a post I made back in. I don't even know when it might have been 2 years ago now. Around Father's Day, and I was like, I'm sitting here waiting for the Verizon tech because our power box or whatever it's called, it died. So anyway, there are things we don't think about. Like we don't think about people who, now that the world is opening back up a little bit, like asking them to come into work now, and how the people who, either had to use public transportation because of where they live, because it's just more convenient, or because that's their only means of getting from point A to B, like that service is now limited, or that the route no longer goes to this place, or when you get there, like, what are you going to do? Like, I needed notebooks, and I'm a contractor for a phenomenal organization, a global organization. Right. And these are things you don't think about. Like, I'm a note taker. And again, I buy my own supplies, but now I'm like, wait a minute. I need notebooks. I'm using up my stuff. Yeah. So I asked, how do I get notebooks? And people didn't know. Because we used to be able to just go into the supply closet
and get what you needed.
And guess what? Even if and there is an office close by that I can go drive to, but even if I went there, they haven't been there for 2 years. Yeah. So no one's ordered any supplies. Or I can't or there's no one there to let me in at the time that's convenient for me. So like I said, there's a lot of things that we're not really taking into account, because we're only seeing through our lens. Yeah. So that's been a problem too. And I guess the third one has just been the uncertainty, especially when it comes to recruiters, because they expect us, or even HR too, whatever your HR function is, whether it be recruiting or whether it be something else, they expect us to have all the answers, but there's still so much uncertainty about when we're going back to work, if we are. Yeah. And when we do, what is that schedule going to be? What is the policy now for someone who does want to telework in a role that was not previously teleworking, but can be done telework? What are we going to do with the people who don't come back and that we allow to continue to telework? And now we have an office that's only 40 or 50% capacity. Like, do we continue with this lease? So the uncertainty, and then job seekers ask those questions. They want to know up front, and they deserve to know those answers. They do. And there's only so many times you can say, I'll get back to you.
I'll get back to you
for that. And they're thinking, well, these people don't know what they're doing.
Exactly.
So that will be the top, my top three.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. I couldn't agree with you more on a lot of those. And I never even, I guess, because even though I am an external contractor, I guess there are certain things for me that are just a given that I know I should have. But even if I didn't have it, the fact that I should have access to it based on who I'm working with is something I definitely need to give consideration to going forward. So thank you for sharing that. Right, let me ask you, what are your top 3 HR trends for 2022?
I'm not doing that.
your trends in TA.
I'm just going to keep it 100. Like, I'm too tired to know what's going on in the world. Like, I just responded to emails from January 13th, and I started each one with, I had to prioritize roles that were open and roles that we were interviewing for, and those job seekers, before I could do this discovery call with you. Yeah. So those are the types of things that I'm just catching up on. So what does that put me? I'm like 2 weeks behind on doing things, or, having the bandwidth, so to speak, to help people who, are not applying, but still want to know more about the company that I work for. And I do feel like I should give those people a level of attention, but I have to be honest, and I have to be transparent and forthcoming and say, listen, there are people that, I'm dealing with right now who have these, immediate needs. I have to prioritize this. I have to prioritize these things. So I guess I don't know if that's a trend. I guess the trend of being like people being more empathetic, people being more aware, and people being more accountable, and people not trying to do everything. Like those would be the trends I would say. Like, say no. Y'all saw my post. No doesn't
Yes.
mean nothing. It means next opportunity, and
Uh-huh.
we'll get to it when we get to it. Say no
Right.
when you need to, because
Set your boundaries.
please,
Peace
yeah,
of mind is important. If you have no mind, you can't work.
no, we can't. Our profession cannot run on empty. Our
Can't.
profession cannot run on fumes. Our profession cannot be down in the goat. I mean, down in the goat, down in the dumps. I was thinking about Shally and like, don't take my goat, because like
Uh-huh.
I don't even know where my goat is. Like it used to be in my bookcase right here, but I don't even know where it is. I think I threw it away.
Uh-huh. Oh my goodness. What are you reading, watching, listening to right now that you think our audience would benefit from?
Again, I just don't have the bandwidth to have anything like HR related. So I'm trying.
No,
So when I
period.
take,
Period.
okay, I was like, because when I take my
No,
time off,
period.
yeah, when I
Period.
shut. All right. So if you haven't already, the new season of Ozark is out. I
Okay.
already finished it. Watching
You already
that.
finished it?
Oh yeah.
Duh.
No. I'm serious. Like I said, like my weekends, like Saturday and Sunday, I do my extreme best not to do
Work.
any work.
Me too.
And
Me
I
too.
sit there and I enjoy my shows.
Yes.
Another good show, Abbott Elementary. Again, I watch it on Wednesdays. It comes out on Tuesdays, I believe, but I watch it
Uh-huh.
on Wednesdays.
When
And
there's
then
no ads.
oh yeah, I watch it on Hulu. The next day, because I gotta watch This Is Us
Yeah.
on Tuesday nights.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. I want to get ahead of that one. I want to stay current with This Is Us, because the internet will ruin those type very popular shows
Yes.
for you. So those are my shows right
Uh-huh.
now. Reading, I just got the new Zora Neale Hurston book. I pre-ordered it, and it's
Uh-huh.
you don't know us Negroes.
Okay.
Again, I feel like it's going to be a fantastic read.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it's not going to bring some emotions out of me, but it's not work related, so
Right.
I'll go with that.
Uh-huh.
And then music, I have to have something on in the background all the time, and
Me too.
normally in the morning I have church.
Right.
I do.
Okay.
I miss church. Like I
Uh-huh.
listen to gospel playlists,
Right.
and sometimes forget that I am not a singer.
Who's on your playlist?
I like traditional gospel choir music. So
Okay.
I'm a Richard Smallwood, Hezekiah Walker. I used to follow him around the country. Excuse me. I used to follow him whenever he came to Philadelphia. I had to be there.
Okay.
I wasn't even Kojic, but I would be at their convocation if he was there, like every time, sitting there. Like I had to, yeah. That's a conversation for a different time too. I mean, here's the thing: you can have worse crushes when you're young, right?
It's true, and it's perfectly
So,
fine.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then classic hip hop. Love it. Like I have 90s playlists with songs that I still can recite word for word.
Uh-huh.
I
Uh-huh.
love,
Yes.
and not to down the new hip hop, because I like Young Thug. I don't know why. I think it's the melody, like the way
Okay.
that he kind of sing raps. So
Woo.
yeah, I do like Young Thug, and y'all are gonna cancel me, but I like Future.
Future?
Yeah,
Oh,
again, it's not the words, it's more the beat, it's the melody, it's the music that
yeah.
I like. He has great production.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
There you go.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna cancel you for that. It's
You're not
totally
canceled.
to each his own. To each his own. You know what you like.
I do.
That's the most important thing. The last question, the biggest question. What is the biggest misconception about talent acquisition that really bothers you? You want to set the record straight on right here, right now. What do you want to tell the people about talent acquisition that they just got totally wrong?
That we're your partner. Like, we're not your enemy. We are not a force, a gatekeeper in the bad sense of the word. We're not your enemy. We're your partner. We're your collaborator. We're your advocate. We are your champion a lot of times. Uh, we are a source of information. Like, we are everything.
Yeah.
Like we are not bad. We are not something to stay away from. You know, and we are not something that can be replaced by automation. Like our jobs are too important for us to give everything away to
the
automation.
robots.
Yes. Although, you know, technology is definitely a part. I like to say recruiters and HR need to be both high tech and high touch.
Exactly.
A balance.
A delicate balance, but a balance that is important nonetheless. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. And with that being said, Kirsten Greggs, you have survived your time in the sound booth today. I want to thank you so much for joining me. I will be sharing all of your resources in the comments, as well as your link to your Twitter, LinkedIn, so that people can reach out and connect with you. But I wish you all the best, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us in the sound booth today. I hope that you found this information from this episode useful. You can find me on all social media platforms at I am Julie Turney. That's I-am Julie Turney. And you can find this episode or this show on most digital platforms, Google Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, you name it, we're there. Thanks to Anchor FM and Rock Solid Entertainment for helping me to put this content together for you. And I will see you again in the next Sound Off.